Okay, I think we're live. I think we're live on Spreaker. I think we're live on the website, Facebook, whatever. You guys know. So we're probably going to go a little longer today than normal. Usually I try to keep it about an hour, but I did add some stuff. I added some two-start pitchers in the box scores and some injury notes and some waiver wire pickups and all kinds of stuff. So thanks for joining me in the chat room. I sent a message out to a couple people to see if they would come and chat while we talk some Saturday baseball, but it's really nice to see Stardog, Unholy Toledo. Malpal, I know will come if he can. He's busy doing some other things today. But anyway, you don't care about that. You care about who in the world are you going to pick up tomorrow? And that's what I'm here to help you with. So let's get started. We will start talking about Unholy Toledo's favorite team, the Cubbies. Okay, the Cubbies beat the Brewers 15-2 yesterday. They crushed Milwaukee. They've won 4 now straight. So just a couple, maybe just like a week ago or maybe 8 or 10 days ago, we were talking about the Cubbies having the worst batting average in all of baseball. So it seems that they're waking up a little bit. They entered yesterday with 8 runs scored in the first inning total all season. In the first inning, they had 8 runs in the first inning. That's all their games. Yesterday, they scored 6 runs in the first inning and 4 in the second inning. So it was the first time scoring 6 or more runs in the first inning since August 28th, 2019. They also scored 6 runs in the first inning. So they had, listen to this, they had 11 or 17 batted balls over 102 miles per hour. That's a StatCast era record. So that's since 2015, since they started keeping track of that stuff. But yeah, 17 batted balls over 102 miles an hour. Milwaukee entered yesterday. They had won 3 in a row, and they gave up 17 hits, and that was after only allowing 15 hits and 3 runs when they swept the Padres heading into this series. So they came into this series having won 3 games in a row and having only allowed 15 hits in the entire series. Yesterday, they allowed 17 hits to the Cubbies. Jake Marisnick was like the star of the game. 2 hits. He scored twice, including a home run, but don't go picking up Jake Marisnick, okay? I'm just saying. He matched a career high with 5 RBI. And Anthony Rizzo, Javi Baez, and Wilson Contreras all hit home runs yesterday. Nico Horner had his first start of the season. He had 3 hits. Kyle Hendricks, 6 innings. Kyle Hendricks has been kind of a disappointment so far this season, but obviously you're not going to bench him. You're not going to dump him. You're not going to trade him. Just hold on to him. He struck out 6. He only walked 1, which you can, I mean, he's like, if you want to talk about reliability, Kyle Hendricks is like one of the most reliable pitchers in baseball. So don't give up on him yet. Colton Wong was back yesterday. He hit a home run. He finished with 3 hits, and that was his first game since he's been out since April 8th with the oblique problem. So he's back. Brett Anderson, I mean, how many people even own him? Anderson, he departed with right knee discomfort after throwing 11 pitches. He said that he's going to have an MRI today to determine the source of the pain. But seriously, if you have him, you should just move on from him because he is no bueno. He's always on the verge of getting hurt, like every day. Bryant, yes, Chris Bryant's resembling his old self, according to the chat room. And yes, he is, and I'm very pleased about it. Rizzo, too. Both of these guys seem to be pulling it together, and I actually have Bryant on several teams. I figure between him, wanting to get out of Chicago and Javi Baez on his contract year, and Rizzo, I think that all 3 of these guys are going to have a good year. So on this, in this situation, you have Milwaukee and the Cubbies. Trevor Williams gets 2 starts next week. Okay. He is at Atlanta against Ian Anderson and at Cincinnati against Tyler Mahle. The thing is that he has a horrible ERA on the road. So I'm telling you not to put Trevor. I do not recommend Trevor Williams 2 starts this week, even though it seems like he has decent starts. I know Lenny really kind of likes him. His last start was pretty good. He was at home against the New York Mets. He went 5 innings and struck out 6. But at home is the key here with him. He allowed 10 hits in 3 innings to Pittsburgh at Pittsburgh. That was his only start away from home. I just don't know if I would trust him, especially against good pitcher and Ian Anderson. I mean, I'm a little hesitant with him, but he's been pitching pretty well. So he's at Atlanta and at Cincinnati. Great home run park for batters, but not so great for pitchers. And I recommend staying away from him as a 2-start pitcher this week, but I'm sure he's going to be on lots of people's list because he does have, I mean, he had his last 2 outings, he was gone 5 innings, both outings. He allowed 9 hits total between those 2 outings, 10 innings. So he's absolutely getting better than he was. He had like one really horrible outing. So, I mean, I'm not going to say that like he's not good, but so far we only have 4 starts, and one of them was so bad that his ERA is pretty high. And so I'm just saying he has a 13.5 ERA on the road and a 2.81 at home. Adrian Hauser starts 2 times this week. He's going at home against Miami, Diego Castano, and at home versus Walker Buehler. So again, I'm not a fan of Adrian Hauser this week. He's not great at home. He's got a 3.32 ERA, so you might be tempted to grab him, snatch him, put him, in your streaming situation this week because he does have 2 starts. But it's almost 5 ERA at home, and even though his last 2 outings, his last 2 games started, he hasn't even pitched into the 5th inning, so he wouldn't qualify for a win even if even if the team did win, he still wouldn't qualify as a win because he can't get into the 5th inning. I'm like on the fence with him. I think that perhaps he may have a decent career, but I just don't think he's there yet. He's only got a 15% strikeout rate, and he's walking over 4 batters per 9 innings. So stay away from him too, in my opinion. David Bote could be a good one to pick up right now. He's played in 5 of the last 6 games. Over the last 6 games in 21 plate appearances, he has 6 hits, a home run, 9 RBIs, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts, batting .333. So he also qualifies at middle and corner. So David Bote, okay, first of all, he can play all over the place. He can. He's kind of I feel like Bote is just going to be like a mediocre at best batter. But the fact that he's eligible I don't know if he's eligible, but he's capable of playing anywhere they need him. So if the Cubbies are in need, he's going to play second base, third base. But like I said, he's played in 5 of the last 6 games. His batting average is horrendous, so don't even look at it. His on-base percentage is a little better, so he's probably better in on-base percentage leagues than he is in normal batting average leagues because it's under 200, by the way. Don't even go there, okay, with the Mendoza line, all right? So Christian Yelich is not going to be back today, which was today's the first day that he's eligible to come off of the 10-day injured list. He's not coming back. He will not be back. I don't know. They didn't really say when he's going to come back, but it's not today. So prepare for that for a little while longer. Avisel Garcia left the game last night after the first inning. Craig Counsell calls it back tightness, so we'll see what happens there. And Jace Peterson on the injured list, left thumb injury. And then on the Cubby side for injuries, you have Shelby Miller with the lower back strain. He was put on the 10-day injured list. And Kyle Ryan, left-handed pitcher, he was recalled from the alternate training site. He pitched 2 scoreless innings. He's a bullpen guy. Billy McKinney could be considered to pick up if your lineup, this is a situation where I really wouldn't put him on my roster. I wouldn't snag him up unless I could make daily moves because his situation is not permanent, but he could be okay. He's homered in consecutive games this week, and he could be like in a 15-team league or whatever outfielder. Could be useful. I mean, I don't know if he's already swooped up in NL-only leagues, but he could be okay. Pick up this week. All right, moving on. Let me check the chat room. Unholy, you're so great coming to my show. I love it. Okay. Let me check this. Hi, Mariana. I see. I'm good. How are you? All right. All righty. Going back here. All right. Washington Nationals at New York Mets. This is game. The Mets ranked 27th of 30. Okay. Coming into this game in slugging percentage. Jacob deGrom. I mean, what else is there to talk about in this entire game besides Jacob deGrom? He's unbelievable. He now has more RBIs than earned runs allowed on the season. So he's like a one-man wrecking ball, okay, for the Mets. He is hitting, he is pitching, he is now we talked about on our show last Sunday about there's only been, I think, 2 pitchers that have ever thrown at least 15 strikeouts 3 games in a row, or 2 games in a row. I don't know. Lenny, tell me which one it was. I think it was 2 games. Anyways, there's only 2 pitchers that have done it. Now, Jacob deGrom just did it. He, yesterday, just unbelievable. He's got 50 strikeouts, okay? The most by any pitcher in his first 4 appearances of a season since 1900. It's unbelievable. He's batting .556 and he's pitching with an ERA of .36. If he stays on pace, he'll set 2 different records. That was probably yesterday, and I do think that he did break both of those records. He's got 319 pitches at over 99 miles an hour, and that's since just 2020. Since the beginning of 2020, he's thrown 319 pitches at 99 miles an hour or higher. So not just more than 99, but 99 or higher. 319 pitches. That's 171 more than any other pitcher. Holy moly. Brusdar Graterol is the next guy on the list. Okay, he's a relief pitcher, so no starter even comes close to Jacob deGrom, and his ability to pitch and throw so hard, even into like the 7th, 8th inning. He just is. He's untouchable as far as his competition, and as for Cy Young or for anybody in baseball right now, there's no pitcher that even comes close to Jacob deGrom, and I give him a ton of credit. So he threw 5 pitches, 100 miles an hour in the first inning. Okay, holy crap. 33 pitches at 100 miles an hour or more in the first inning since the start of last season. And nobody's thrown more than 8, and that was Sixto Sanchez, who did it last year, who we're waiting patiently on and just keeps getting hurt. So yeah, okay. Jacob deGrom, I told you, has 50 strikeouts already on the season. If you combine all the other Mets starting pitchers, okay, they have 56 combined. And Jacob deGrom is just, I bet he has more strikeouts than half the league's starting pitchers combined. Like, if you took everybody's starting rotation, you add up all their strikeouts, I bet you that Jacob deGrom has more strikeouts than half of the team's starting pitchers. That's true, I think. I didn't check it out, but that's my guess. All right. The Nationals, you know that we have a problem with Juan Soto. He is going to be out for at least another week because he has a strained left shoulder. And here's a good one. I mean, I did pick up this guy, and he's going to have 2 starts next week. That's why I bring him up, David Peterson. I like him, although I do have question marks about him because his last outing, he allowed 4 hits and 3 earned runs, but actually 6 runs, just 3 of them were earned, and only 3 1/3 innings against the Cubbies. This was on April 21st. So his next start is going to be on Monday against Boston at home. And then he travels to Philly and goes up against Eflin. The Eflin one is obviously, I mean, I guess I'm a little concerned about both. I'm obviously not that concerned about Garrett Richards, but I am a little concerned about Fenway, and I'm concerned about the fact that the Red Sox are on fire right now. And, he is hit or miss. Like the outing right before he faced the Cubbies, he faced Philly at home. He pitched 6 innings. He only allowed 2 hits, 1 earned run, and 10 strikeouts. So that was an excellent outing. And so you have a situation where it's a little risky, but out of the 2 start pitchers that I've talked about so far, I would absolutely rank him higher than any of the other ones that we've talked about. Yeah, of course, we have a few more to go, but David Peterson, I would say that he could possibly be worth longer than just a streaming pitcher. So if you have the ability to pitch him against Garrett Richards, I would try it. I really would. I mean, it's a little scary, but it seems like, first of all, I made a mistake saying Fenway Park because it looks like he's going against Boston at home at New York Mets. So that's good. But his last outing was also at home. So I don't know. He only lasted 3 1/3. He walks not very many, less than 3 per 9. He is allowing quite a few home runs, but it's kind of hard to tell yet because he's only had a few outings. His ERA away is 11, and his ERA at home is 1.5. So he's actually at home against Boston and then goes to Philly to face Zach Eflin. He strikes out over 12 per 9, and he has a 50% ground ball rate. His FIP is 4.44, so his ERA is actually 6.75. It doesn't look pretty, but his FIP is much better, and I do think that last year he had an ERA of 3.44, and that was 49 innings, and that was his first, his major league debut last year. He's only 25 years old, so I do like David Peterson. If not for now, definitely put him on your watch list. He is going to be a decent pitcher. And I think that he's going to be a decent pitcher this year. Absolutely usable on your team. Pittsburgh, Minnesota. The Twins beat Pittsburgh. No surprise there. J.A. Happ came back for the win. He actually was skipped his last time, so he hasn't pitched since April. I don't know, 9 days. 9 days ago he pitched. So he got skipped his last outing. He had a no-hitter going until the 8th inning. So, what do you make of that? Well, what you make of that is the fact that J.A. Happ is way past his prime. He did throw 7 1/3. Like, he immediately got yanked out of the game when it was Jacob Stallings that got a hit. But then he walked 2 batters, and then bam, he was out. So, he walked 2 batters in the 2nd inning, and then he struck out 3 batters total. He's not that good of a pitcher. He walked 2. Anyway, 95 pitches to get through 7 1/3, but only 51 of them were strikes. So he lowered his ERA to 1.69, but do not believe it. It is ridiculous. He had a slew of 1-0 and 2-0 counts, just behind in the count constantly. Jacob Stallings got a double. That's when he got yanked in the 8th inning. Williams Astudillo and Jake Cave each hit their first home runs of the season for the Twins. And JT Brubaker, okay, very good. This guy, you might want to consider picking him up. He went 7 innings, okay, with 5 hits and no walks allowed. He's 2-1 on the season, but he looked great again yesterday. All right, so check him out. And it's not... Picking up a pitcher for the Pirates is like just stressful because they're just a bad team in general, but their hitters have actually been hitting decent. I will say that Brian Hayes, he has an inflamed left wrist. He was examined on Thursday. They say he's doing better. I don't think he's on the injured list, but he's not been in the game. So Andrelton Simmons, this is the Twins. The first of 5 players to land on the COVID-19 injured list. Okay, so he has cleared his protocols and he will return to action next week. The Twins put Miguel Sano on the injured list. No surprise there. He's got a strained left hamstring. And they pulled, as you probably already know, they promoted Alex Kirilloff among other roster moves. But Kirilloff could be somebody that you might be interested in picking up too. So... Sonny Gray, okay, the Cubbies, or no, not the Cubbies. We already talked about the Cubbies. The Reds and St. Louis. So Kim got the win. St. Louis beat the Cincinnati Reds 5-4, and the Reds really tried hard to come back. They actually scored 3 runs in the 9th inning, but they just couldn't. It wasn't good enough, right? So they had more hits than the Cardinals, but they couldn't score those runs. So they lose by 1 run, but Sonny Gray, he only made it 3 2/3 innings. He gave up 5 earned runs and 6 strikeouts and walked 3. Walked 3 in 3 innings, so 3 2/3. The Reds have lost 5 straight games for the first time since September 2019. Kim, the pitcher Kim, St. Louis, allowed 1 run and 5 hits. He had a career high 8 strikeouts. 3 of Kim's 4 major league wins have come against Cincinnati. So don't get like, you don't really know for sure what kind of pitcher. I mean, he's great against Cincinnati, but they might just be jinxed against him. And he's won 3 of 4. Well, 3 out of all 4 of his wins were against them. So I'd wait a little bit on him. I don't know. Anyway, Cincinnati scored 3 times in the ninth. I told you that. Now, Alex Reyes got his 4th save, but he was a nightmare last night on display. Okay. I don't have in my notes exactly what he did, but hey, so this is the happy hour coming on Wednesday nights at 7 o'clock here at Lenny Melnick FantasySports.com /live. Come to the shows, and you can catch Dougie tomorrow at noon and George at 6:30. So I'm supposed to I'm supposed to take little breaks. I'm supposed to be practicing. Okay. So I'm supposed to be practicing watching the clock, because on our Sirius show, I never do that. Lenny's always in charge of the time. But one day I might have to know this. So that's what I'm practicing today on Saturday baseball. I think I'll give you some information while I'm at it, though, okay? Because I can't practice alone. Anyway, Sonny Gray. He's 0-1. He's not having a great season. But Alex Reyes, okay, here's what I wanted to say about Alex Reyes. Yes, he got his 4th save, but no, he was not looking good. He was not looking good at all. In fact, I think he allowed like a few hits. Obviously, there was 3 runs scored in the 9th inning, and you can put those on him, and it was not looking good, okay? He did get the final 2 outs for his 4th save, but Yadier Molina hit his 5th home run of the season. Can you believe it? I don't know if he's trying to work. Like, does he want to continue playing or what? Because he's got 5 home runs and a double. Yesterday he hit 1 home run and a double, and then he left the game though with a sore foot. His batting average is .339. So anybody that has Yadier Molina on their team is very pleased about it right now. May not be that pleased if he has something wrong with his foot, but this is a guy, I mean, shoot, spent his entire career with the Cubbies. Oh my goodness, I have people out there like ready to shoot me right now for saying that, because he is not a Cubby. Okay, he is a Cardinal, and they don't like each other at all. So there you go. Anyway, Castellanos hit his 7th home run. He's on fire. He also got his 1,000th hit yesterday. Injury updates, Moustakas. I have 7 injured players on my NL only team, and it is absolutely killing me. I went from 1st place to last place, and I'm not even close. Every day it just keeps getting worse and worse, and Moustakas is part of this problem now. But 7 injured NL only players, and there's like no even living bodies to grab on the waiver. Just every day you could pick up players anytime you want. So it really hinders your ability to pick up players, because if you are, there's guys in this league that must do nothing but just sit around and be like, oh, he's about to, he got a hit or 2 hits, and they go and grab him immediately. So you just don't have, unless you're like on top of things, you got to pick players up before they actually even do anything. So I'm always looking for NL only players that are breathing and living and playing and getting at bats. That's right. Getting at bats. Okay, Moustakas. He is non-COVID, but he's got some kind of illness, and he's been on the injured list since April 17th. Okay, so it was retroactive, and that means that April 27th he can come back. That's in a few days, and I hope that he does. He's continuing to recover from whatever illness he has, which is not COVID. The Cardinals activated Tyler O'Neill from the injured list with the right groin strain. And okay, Justin Williams, he's somebody that I thought I could bring up to perhaps grab this week. It would be nice if I knew what team he's on. St. Louis. That's good. I put him in the right group at least. Okay, so he's a defensive guy. He's in that playing the outfield in St. Louis. He is like he's a defensive guy, but that will probably keep him in the lineup as long as he keeps hitting. He could play quite a bit, I think. He started pretty cold the season, and he's been picking it up. He was on Scott Engel's waiver wire list this week at the Athletics, so I kind of stole this one from him. But I've heard his name a couple times this week from listening to Lenny's podcast, and you could consider taking a flyer and rostering him now while he is playing consistent. He's played 7 out of the last 7 games. So, I mean, he plays all 3 outfield position. You have Harrison Bader, of course, injured as always, right? Harrison Bader always injured. But then you have Tyler O'Neill, Dylan Carlson, and then Justin Wilson. So anyway, he's played like left, center, right. He plays anywhere. It's just that he's not a starting outfielder at the moment. He, in the last 7 games in 25 plate appearances, I told you he's played in all 7 games. He's hit 2 home runs, struck out 10 times though, okay? His batting average is only 227 over the last 7 games and 3 RBIs, but who knows if the 2 home runs were just a fluke or what's going on here. But I do know this. He's mostly known for his defense. And so fantasy players are just probably not, he's not like going to be anything great. But I will say this. Adam Wainwright gets 2 starts this week. Now, okay, I know Adam Wainwright. He's been freaking horrible. In fact, he got -7 points for me in his first game this season. His first start, it was absolutely horrible. He only lasted 2 2/3, 7 hits, 6 earned runs, a home run. It was just ridiculous. But he had such a great spring. I was like, okay, that's how he ended up on my team to begin with, because his spring was really good. And I know he's older guy. He's obviously past his prime. But listen, he has pulled it together somewhat in the past 3 outings, okay, from April 14th to April 20th. He's pitched 12 innings in 2 starts. I mean, not 3, 2 starts, 12 innings with a 3 ERA and 17 strikeouts. Yes, he has allowed 12 hits in 12 innings, and he's also given up 2 home runs in 12 innings, 2 outings, whatever. But 17 strikeouts and 12 innings is great for me. This week, he goes up against at home versus Zach Wheeler. I don't really like that one too much. And at Pittsburgh, Chad Cole. So seriously, definitely the second outing, he is worth putting in active. If you're in a league that you have to, keep him active immediately, then he might not be the greatest pickup for a 2-start streaming pitcher, because he does face Zach Wheeler, who I think is pretty tough. He's pretty tough. So whatever. We'll see what happens. But Wheeler, I like, if you're interested in that, because his second start this week is golden. At home, he's got a 2.82 ERA, and on the road since 2019, okay? Since 2019 this is, and that's a lot of starts, but 5.55 ERA on the road and 2.82 at home. So even though he's facing Zach Wheeler, he's still pitching at home, which he does fairly well. Does a good job. His ERA on the season is 5. It's a little over 5, 5.03. Okay, but his last 2 outings, it's a 3 ERA. And he threw at least 5 innings in 3 of his last 3 outings. And, he's had only 4 games started this year. So the most recent start that he just did was 7 innings. So he's working his way up. He's ready to go. He 10 strikeouts, 1 walk at Washington, and his FIP on the season is 3.85. So yes, his ERA is over 5, but his FIP is 3.85, and his strikeout rate is 26.7%, and his ground ball rate is almost 50. It's 48.3%. So that's good. Let's see, Miami, San Francisco game. All right, I'm supposed to do a little break right now. This is the Roto Lady. We are talking baseball on a Saturday afternoon. Saturday baseball is what we call it. And I have Kahlua Bailey's coffee, and that's delicious. So thanks for joining me today on Holy Toledo. You're the only one. I thought some other people were coming back, but whatever. We don't care. We don't even care, because people will either watch it or they don't. But Miami, San Francisco, you have Alex Wood. Okay. He allowed a home run on his 3rd pitch. It was his 3rd pitch. Now, he's a guy, too, that maybe worth checking out this week. I think he has 2 starts. No. He doesn't have 2 starts, but he was also on Scott Engel's list for picking up. Now, here's the thing about Alex Wood. He just pitched yesterday, so we kind of, we know what's up. He didn't have a great start to the season, but Alex Wood allowed a home run on his 3rd pitch, but he made it through 7 innings. So he's 2-0. He only allowed 1 hit. That was Chisholm. Jazz Chisholm hit a home run, a leadoff home run, by the way. Jazz Chisholm is batting leadoff. So obviously he's not available in anybody's league, but if you did happen to grab him early or in your draft, then you're very pleased with what Jazz Chisholm is doing. And in my opinion, I don't think that you could ever sell him higher than what you could right this minute. But Alex Wood, back to Alex Wood, he struck out 7. Scott Engel says he's only owned in 16% of leagues. 16% because he just whatever. He's on the Giants now, so that's great for the ballpark situation. I mean, Alex Wood could be a decent pickup for sure. Mike Yastrzemski homered. The Giants are 7-1 at home, and they celebrated Buster Posey becoming the first player in franchise history to catch 1,000 games. Brandon Belt walked 3 times. He had an RBI single. He's heating up. Tyler Rogers and Jake McGee, they retired 3 batters apiece, and they had a 3-hitter. So only 3 hits allowed the entire game. Sandy Alcantara allowed 2 runs and 4 hits in 5 innings. He had 4 strikeouts and walked 4. This is his problem. Walking batters, that's his problem. The ultimate sin of a pitcher is walking batters. Believe me, it's bad. Jazz Chisholm. Maybe it's my Kahlua Bailey's in my coffee. I don't know. Anyway, like I said, he's batting leadoff, and they like him there. They said that they don't see any reason to change him out of that first number 1 spot in the order. And Jesus Aguilar hit a home run also. So I have Aguilar as a potential pickup this week. I think that he is worth a pickup because we know that when he does hit the ball, he hits it super hard. And he has played in 6 of the last 7 games, even though there is no DH in Miami, obviously, because it's an NL team. He has been playing, so that's why I put him on the list to pick up. But his batting average is not good. Like on the season, actually, his batting average on the season is not bad. It's 283, but over the past 5 games, his batting average is only 125. Okay, so it's not good at all. His on-base percentage is 211. That's because 3 strikeouts and 16 at-bats in the last 5 games. But he's played the last 6 of 7, so we'll see. But I just you go into this relationship not expecting too much out of this guy, and then you don't be too disappointed. But if you do need a fill-in first baseman, because that's the only place he qualifies, he could be okay. I just don't. I'm questioning whether or not I even should have put him on the list, because I've already had him and dropped him on several teams this year because he's been I don't know. The lack of consistent playing time is my problem. Although, like I said, he's played 6 of the last 7, so we'll see. But, okay, this guy, Evan Longoria, okay, he has been a monster this year. And so, I mean, I'm thinking while everybody else is out getting really popular players, I don't know who, but I know just in the last couple of weeks of waiver wire pickups, I've been I grabbed Evan Longoria everywhere I could. I thought I could get him for $1. Nobody likes him anymore. Nobody cares about Evan Longoria and his 4 or 5 home runs already on the season. But now he has a tight hamstring. Yesterday he received treatment before the game. He was able to pinch hit yesterday, but he has been on fire this year and absolutely worth $1. Okay, if you need somebody. Second base, Donovan Solano. He's got a moderate right calf strain, so he's poop out, whatever. Reyes Moranta, he has been on the IL. He threw a bullpen session Thursday, and he had no setback, so he is scheduled to throw again today, and then we'll see what happens. Kapler said that Johnny Cueto, we don't really know when he's coming back. There's no timetable. Things are trending in the right direction is all we know. Cueto's been out with a grade 1 right lat strain since April 15th, and there is no timetable for him to come back, okay? So you got that going. He's hit 8 home runs. No, he hit 8 home runs last year, Aguilar, but he's only hit 1 home run this season. So another guy that you could look at for waiver wire is Austin Slater. I'm really annoyed at Austin Slater because he's taking at bats away from Alex Dickerson, who's hitting crappy. So there's no there. I mean, that's why Austin Slater is now on the list to pick up, because he did show some promise last year in the power and speed departments, and he's hit 5 home runs and stole 8 bases in 31 games in 2020. He has 1 home run now and 2 stolen bases, but it's, I really think that he's playing better than Alex Dickerson. He's going to continue to get into the lineup, and he could be a great add if you need an outfielder. He walks a lot, so he gets on base, and the fact that he steals bases is obviously a partner to that, because if you get on base, then you have the opportunity to steal bases. He is probably better in on-base percentage than he is in just regular batting average leagues. And I mean, his launch angle is 10.1 degrees. That's pretty much the same as what it was last year. So it seems like he's doing the same thing. And I mean, he had a good season last year. So check out Austin Slater. DeSclafani is striking out 23.6% of batters. That's in line with his 2018 season, when he had a great season. 2018 he didn't have a great batting or ERA, but in 2019 it was pretty good. And then this year, right now, Anthony DeSclafani, his ERA is 2.14. He's pitching in San Francisco, which is obviously a great place for pitchers, and it will help him keep his ERA down. So in 21 innings so far, he has 21 strikeouts and a 2.14 ERA and a 1.19 whip. I don't see this continuing like this. I just don't. Although, like I said, San Diego is great for pitchers. So last outing, okay, I think he has 2 starts this week. He might have 2 starts. Yes, he faces Colorado at home, San Francisco, yay. And then he goes to San Diego, but he already faced San Diego 1 time this year. And he goes against Joe Musgrove this time, so that's pretty sketchy. I don't like that matchup at all, obviously, but he did face San Diego 1 time at San Diego, okay, and it was 5 innings that he made it through. 5 innings, 4 strikeouts, 1 earned run. So he didn't do bad at San Diego in his last outing. He's got 2 starts this week. Lefties are crushing him, though. I would watch and see. I mean, if you can take him out against like a bunch of heavy hitting lefties, that would be good. But anyway, left-handed batters are hitting 317. I noticed that when I was doing research. All right, Philly, Colorado. Colorado has now won 3 straight, and I have to say their freaking starting pitchers are excellent. They have been very good this year, including at home. But they've won 3 straight games. I don't know how they're winning, and we did not think they would be winning jack this year, but they trailed the Phillies twice, okay, by 2 runs. They came from behind twice in that game. Philly was 0 for 10 with runners in scoring position. 3 of the Phillies' runs were scored on outs. Trevor Story, CJ Cron, Garrett Hampson, all homered. Vince Velasquez. That's why Vince Velasquez is just a nightmare. He's got absolutely no command. He's got lots of good pitches, only when they're good, though. Like, he doesn't know which pitch to use when. He's probably going to end up being a bullpen guy for real, for good. But anyway, he made a start yesterday. It was his 4th appearance, so he's already spent time in the bullpen. He's not in the starting rotation, but he left after allowing 2 runs, 5 hits in 4 innings. Hector Neris blew a save. He is now 1-2 on the season. I don't know if he got a loss or blew the save. He couldn't have blown the save because they didn't. Let me check it out. Yeah, so Philly scored 4 runs and Colorado scored 5 runs. And Colorado scored twice, once in the 8th and once in the 9th and once in the 7th. So Hector Neris got the loss. He went 1 out, 1 earned run, 1 strikeout, and he didn't walk anybody. But Michael Givens got the win. He pitched 1 inning, no earned runs, 1 strikeout. I didn't even know. I mean, like, I knew that he was still pitching, but I don't pay attention to him. So anyway, Rhys Hoskins got a home run, number 4. Home run number 4 for Hoskins. Tapia got the home run off of Hector Neris, who's horrible and should not even be. He's not going to be the closer. That's all there is to it. He's not good. He's been trying to be the closer for years and years. And he's been given an opportunity to be closer for years because Philly doesn't have anybody else or hasn't had anybody else, but now they do. And I'm telling you, he's not going to end the season with the most saves on this team or even close to it. Rhys Hoskins, I told you. Dom Nunez could be okay. He's Colorado catcher. He actually could be. Like, I think that the Colorado Rockies really like this guy. He's like starting to become the preferred catcher in Colorado. He has 3 starts in the past 4 games. He's only batting 200, but what the hell? He's a catcher, right? I mean, you don't need that much greatness from your catcher as far as batting average goes. Anyway, he has 4 home runs and 7 RBIs in the last 4 games. So he's great. 211 batting average on the season. 211. In 41 plate appearances with 9 RBIs and 4 home runs. Okay, he could be one. Grab him if you need a catcher. Ramiel Tapia, he is also owned in few leagues, not very many, which, I mean, he's a good hitter, really. He's like a good plate discipline guy, and he went 3 for 5 yesterday. He had a home run. The third this season after just 1 multi-hit game in 204 plate appearances in 2020. No, 1 home run, his first home run. But he's not a bad hitter. I really do think that he's a decent hitter. He's 27 years old. He strikes out less than 10% of the time. He bats .297, right? So he's good. He's not very good against left-handed pitching this year, but his career stats do not say that he's horrible against lefties. So I think that's just a fluke. I think he will get better. Another guy that you could consider picking up that I got from Scotty Engel. Thank you, Scotty Engel, the king. He's Spencer Howard. Philly pitcher. He's actually probably available in every league. He had a relief pitch appearance on Wednesday, and I really think that he could turn out to be a decent pitcher. And so Scott Engel agrees with. Well, I agree with Scott Engel. 1.1 1/3 innings. He's struck out 3 batters. So you should probably grab him now if you want him, because he's not going to be around long as a free agent, but he is guaranteed free agent as we speak in most leagues, except for NL only. He's probably not, but maybe. I should go there now to my ESPN league and see if he's available. Austin Gomer. Okay. He 2-start pitcher this week. I know it's crazy. It's a Colorado pitcher, but I'm telling you, he's going to San Francisco. That's a good ballpark for pitchers. And he's going to Arizona. So I would absolutely not like to pitch him against Zach Gallen in Arizona, but perhaps I would, because Arizona is not hitting good. Their best hitter is Eduardo Escobar, okay? He's not a good pitch. Anyway, the team is not hitting great. So Austin Gomer, though, is doing well, okay, both home and away. In fact, since 2019, Austin Gomer has a 1.45 ERA at home in Colorado, if you can imagine, and a 3.25 ERA on the road. He hasn't pitched that many innings, but still, it's like 50 innings total, okay, between home and away. 6 innings, okay, 6 or more innings in 3 of his last 4 starts, in 3 of his only 4 starts this season. So his first one, he only made it 3 1/3, but all 3 outings, all 3 games that he started since then, he makes it to 6 innings. That's pretty darn good, okay? I think that's pretty darn good. So he's got a 23% strikeout rate, and he's walking way too many batters. But here's the thing. He walked 7 batters in his first outing, which was only 3 innings. So that 7 walks really has wrecked his walk rate, okay? It's making him look horrible. But in the past 3, I told you there's 3 outings, 6 innings apiece, 18 innings. He's walked 8. Still not great, but only 2 in each of the last 2 outings. He's only walked 2 in each of the last 2, but he's striking out 6, struck out 7, struck out 5. He is an okay pitcher. Really, I'm not that scared of him. I might even put him in at home in Colorado, depending on who he's facing. So, like I said, he's got 2 starts this week. One is at San Francisco and one is at Arizona. I do not like the Arizona one as much, but I'm still willing to take a shot. The only reason I don't like the Arizona start is because of Gallen. And I don't really like the ballpark in anyway, but it's still better than Colorado ballpark, and he's pitching great there. So I think that Austin Gomer, we're going to be talking about again, and it's not just him either. Like the whole Colorado starting rotation is pitching well. Unbelievable. Chichi Gonzalez, here's one, 2 starts, one at San Francisco against Aaron Sanchez, and the other one is in Arizona, right behind, he's going right after Gomer, but he's Chichi Gonzalez, 2 starts, San Francisco and Arizona. Merrill Kelly is who he faces in Arizona. Only 2 earned runs in the last 3 games started for this boy, Chichi Gonzalez. Plus, he has gone 5 innings in both of the last 2 outings, so he could be okay. He's walked 4 in 10 innings, struck out 4, and 2 earned runs in the last 2 games. And seriously, the last 3 starts, he's allowed only 2 earned runs. But the first couple outings, he only went like 2 innings and 3 innings. Now he's pitching 5 innings, so he's stretched out. He's got a 3 ERA on the season. He's got a 3.60 ERA at home and a 1.80 on the road ERA. Not a lot of strikeouts for this guy, and he might have a problem with walks too. So, for instance, he has 7 walks in 15 innings. But like 1 walk the last outing in 5 innings. Then before that, he had 3 walks in 5 innings. That's horrible, but, what are you going to do? This guy is 30 years old, so, Chichi Gonzalez. All right, so injuries. Brad Miller was scratched from the lineup. He had a stiff neck yesterday. Girardi says that he will expect Matt Moore as well as Jose Alvarado to join the team in St. Louis. Also, Ronald Torres, and these guys were just on the COVID list. They're going to be joining the team St. Louis early next week. And then you have on Colorado, Kyle Freeland, lefty pitcher, strained left shoulder, threw on the side. He's expected to have his first bullpen session today. And Brendan Rodgers, right hamstring strain. He's doing activities, but he is not running on the grass. And since you love him for his speed, you don't even care that he's not coming back yet. And Didi Gregorius, he was back in the lineup after missing 3 games with inflammation in his elbow. He's got like some kind of stomach issue, like digestive issue. Anyway, doesn't matter. Unholy, nice to see you. Walking is why Dylan Cease will never be special. I know. I agree with you, but Dylan Cease, well, we're going to talk about the White Sox in a few minutes, but they've actually written articles about him talking about how he could be the next Cy Young guy and stuff. And he's actually looked pretty good this year, but I do agree. So Padres are doing, I love watching these Padres games late at night. They're on to like 1:30 or 2 o'clock in the morning, my time. And I just love watching them because they're so good. Like the Dodgers and the Padres, they play so hard against each other that it's just fun to watch. Manny Machado with his defense and his stolen bases. He's just an amazing player to watch. And the youngsters on the Padres, like when you watch the games, you really see how young these players are. Like they look like kids. Like Cronenworth has his like rosy cheeks, out there, and he's just so little. He looks like he's in a junior in high school. But it's just, they really do look like kids. So Malpel and I talk, text back and forth, and we're like always on our, on pins and needles, just like what's happening all the way down to the third out in the 9th inning. Like it goes, and it's just a really good matchup. These two, they play like they're in playoffs, and I'm just amazed at how many times they've even faced each other this year already. It's like the only teams that they play, it feels like. So anyway, the Padres lost 2 out of 3 last week at home versus the Dodgers, and then now they've won the last 3 against the Dodgers, but The Dodgers are batting 143 in their past 3 games against the Padres, which I love to see because the Padres are like the underdog in my opinion. And I love the underdog. So the Dodgers, they've lost 4 of their last 5. They've scored only 11 runs with 23 hits in the last 6 games. And then, of course, you have Mr. Fernando Tatis Jr., who hit 2 home runs yesterday. And the same exact day, April 23rd, 1999, his father, Fernando Tatis Sr., he hit 2 grand slams at Dodger Stadium in 1 inning. Unbelievable, right? They're the first father and son duo to each record multi-home run games at the same venue on the same day of the year. Just a different year, but same day, same ballpark, 2 home runs each. How fun is that? Okay. The first 3 Padres runs came on home runs. You got to love it. One was by Will Myers in 43 career at bats. That was his first home run against Clayton Kershaw. Kershaw had not allowed a home run over 24 2/3 innings in his first 4 starts and threw 6 scoreless innings against the Padres last Saturday, but obviously was not happening. There's been 7 players that have hit multi-home runs off of Kershaw, okay, in 1 game. Tatis Jr. did it last night, but Austin Slater actually did it in 2020, but there's been 7 over the years. I'm not going to go into all of them, but Kershaw pitched 7 innings, 5 hits, 7 strikeouts, but that was his first loss since opening day, which he had just a clunker on opening day. But anyway, he's been good ever since. Yu Darvish pitched 7 innings, 4 hits, and a run. He struck out 9. God, like I remember it was like deja vu with him because I just watched him pitch against the Dodgers. It feels like just a few days ago. Obviously, it was at least a week ago. But anyways, Kershaw had 19 consecutive scoreless innings, throwing 19 innings without anybody scoring on him. And Tommy Pham drove in a run, and Jurickson Profar drove in a run in the 9th inning. It's just such good games, just great games with these guys. This great games. It was 6-1 final score. So yeah, the Dodgers lost, but I'm good with that. All right. Mookie Betts doubled and he scored, so he's looking good. Another pitcher to look at, which is Ryan Weathers, who is David Weathers' son. He's a starting pitcher for the Padres. He just from what I've been reading, he really worked very hard this offseason, had a conditioning program that was implemented by his father, David Weathers, and just outlined and implemented by his dad. And, he had a great spring this year, but it was like the Padres probably don't need him because the rotation is super crowded. But now with Nelson Lamet out, and I just don't know about Chris Paddock, but he shut down the Dodgers for 5 2/3 innings on Thursday. He allowed just 2 base runners, struck out 6, and he has a 5.9 ERA, 0.59, and his whip is the same, okay? So it's not hard to remember. 0.59 both. He could be somebody to watch, pick up, whatever. He's got an xFIP of 364, but still, that's still very good for his age and his experience. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Jace Tingler said that Dinelson Lamet, who's on 10-day IL right now with forearm inflammation, he played catch. Big freaking deal. Lamet, it was a huge mistake in my life. Lamet. So, how mad can I be, though? I think I paid like $6 for him in Tout Wars, so it was absolutely worth $6, right? I mean, I can't be mad at him. Since last year, I got him for 10, and he was absolutely phenomenal all year until the very end. I mean, I could be mad at him for that, but whatever. He's hurt all the time, and you kind of have to expect that from him. He's going to likely throw a bullpen next week, so I'm just over it. I'm over that. Over it. If you find him on the waiver wire and you feel like you have an extra spot for an injured guy, by all means, but he's probably still never mind. Anyway, the rookie Zach McKinstry, he went on the 10-day IL. So there you go with your McKinstry love. Okay, he's got a strained right oblique muscle. He joins Cody Bellinger, Gavin Lux, Tony Gonsolin, and Joe Kelly all out. Chris Taylor missed his second straight game because he has lower back stiffness. And Corey Knebel threw just 5 pitches in the 9th inning before leaving with a trainer. So he felt pain in his upper tricep. He's probably not coming back for a while. Okay. 325. Douglas Boyle, nice to see you back. It's very nice to see you. Thanks for joining us today. Okay, Tyler Glasnow entered the game with a .73 ERA, started out the season beautifully, just like you'd expect him to. He struck out the first 2 batters he faced, but then Vladdy Jr. comes up. And guess what, Vladdy Jr.? He's unbelievable this year. Vladdy Jr., he's got a 381 batting average right now, and this is all due to the fact that he figured out last year that it's not as easy as you get older. Things don't come as easy as it used to, like he never really had to work that hard on his physical body because he was better than everybody around him, and he never really had to worry about it. So like being a little chunky, overweight didn't bother him, didn't hurt him, didn't hinder him. Now he said last year, like, I figured out that, like, he lost 40 pounds. I congratulate him because I can't lose weight like at all, because I love food so much, okay? But whatever. So, okay, like I said, he struck out the first 2, and then Vladdy comes up. He finds a way, sneaks a single in through the infield. Now he's on base 20 games in a row, and he's walking all the time, which he was always pretty good at. But we had a beat writer for Toronto on the show like last week or the week before. Anyway, he was saying that Vladdy is just... he's ready. Like his launch angle looks good. He was able to adjust it. He's hitting home runs. He said actually that Vladdy is not really ever going to be like a home run guy per se. He is going to hit the ball super hard though. Line drives forever, like line drives all the time. But the fact that he hits the ball so hard, he will get on base. That there's no doubt about it. So Marcus Semien, let's see, a double and a walk, and a projected. Wait. So this is what Glasnow led up. Okay, Glasnow allowed a double and a walk and a 413 feet Marcus Semien home run. And the Toronto Blue Jays, they were winning by 4 runs in the first inning. Okay, this all happened. So Glasnow, ask yourself, how does Glasnow strike out 4 in the first inning? Because there's only 3 outs. So how do you strike out 4? Because Lenny sent me a tidbit that was Glasnow is the second pitcher in MLB history with 4 or more strikeouts and 4 or more runs allowed in 1 inning. He's the second pitcher. So like, how the hell does that happen? I could tell you how it happens, but I'll let you guys play around with that for a second in the chat room because I bet one of you knows it. Okay, so there's another pitcher that had more than 3 strikeouts, 4 more strikeouts in 1 inning. It's Doc White. He did it in 1902. So I don't expect you to get that, but how did it happen? How did Glasnow strike out 4 in the first inning? Toronto is dealing with problem. The only problem with Toronto is the fact that, okay, number one, George Springer has not played because he's got injury issues, oblique things, and their defense is horrible. Like Joe Panic at third base allowed a ball to go right past him and then made a throwing error. And then Bichette also made 2 errors yesterday. So just like the whole left side is just a nightmare for the defensive part of it. And but Springer is playing in intra-squad games down in Florida. He was playing on Friday night, and he is checking off the final boxes to come back from his quad injury. So we can expect to make his debut, George Springer, this weekend. He could make his debut this weekend. If not, put him in your roster, like activate him for Monday. He will definitely be back next week, as long as nothing goes wrong between now and then, which it could, but okay, fingers crossed. Teoscar Hernandez is not far behind him. I know Douglas is a big fan of Teoscar Hernandez, but he is recovering from COVID, and he should be back. So anyway, I will check the chat room. Passed ball. Drop third strike. It kind of is. Both of those. All right, kind of. So what happened was that it was a third strike wild pitch to Lourdes Gurriel Jr., who's absolutely their other problem besides their defense and the Springer. And Lourdes Gurriel's been a nightmare. Anyway, it was a wild pitch is what happened. So he struck out the batter, but the inning didn't end because he got on base because it was a wild pitch. Okay. The Oakland A's have won 12 consecutive in a row. 12 in a row. That's their longest winning streak in 2 decades, almost 2 decades, okay? Baltimore, on the other hand, has lost 7 out of 8 home games, and they left 10 on base yesterday. They are 1-6 when facing a lefty starting pitcher. That's something good to remember for DFS. Cole Irvin, though, okay? Cole Irvin, 5 1/3, 8 hits, 1 earned run, 6 strikeouts, 93 pitches in 5 1/3 innings. 69 of 93 were strikes. 3.86 ERA, back-to-back wins for the first time in his career. 6 shutout innings versus Detroit last Saturday. So he could be somebody to watch. Jake Diekman got a second save, and Laureano hit a home run. Mr. I Steal Bases, like he hit a home run yesterday, is number 2. Okay, on the injured problems, we have Mark Canha. He was out of the lineup yesterday. That was the first time this season. They say that there's nothing wrong with him. He doesn't have COVID, but he felt funky. He said he just felt a little funky. I don't know what that means. Like, I don't know if he'll be back in the lineup, but I guess that's better than an injury like to his body. So we'll see what happens. But he was out yesterday. And then you have AJ Puck, who everybody's been waiting for like 2 or 3 years now. He has a strained biceps. He was shut down for a few days. But what's new? Like, I mean, I don't even think I've ever seen him pitch in the major leagues. He's always hurt. But he's expected to resume throwing before the end of this weekend. So we'll see what happens. But John Means, lefty pitcher for Baltimore, he will receive an additional day of rest and start tomorrow. Okay. He threw 7 shutout innings last Sunday against Texas. That was his last outing. He's got a 1.52 ERA on the season. You know, he had that great start at the beginning. I don't know. Anyways, on these 2 teams, you have a 2-start pitcher, Baltimore pitcher. I'm not really a big fan of this 2-start pitcher, but Bruce Zimmerman, he's got 1 against the Yankees at home and 1 at Oakland, Frankie Montas. But see, he's made 4 starts so far this season. He's pitched at least 5 innings in 3 out of 4 of them. His last outing was his worst outing so far. But I mean, the Yankees seem like they might have woken up a little bit. And so in that case, I would say this is probably not a good idea to start this guy or grab him for your streaming, for your streaming pleasure this week. I don't think Bruce Zimmerman should be on it because I'm a little concerned about the Yankees always. Although they've been horrible this year. I mean, last week I would have pitched anybody against the Yankees. There's no doubt about it. But yesterday, Stanton hit 2 home runs, I think. And, I think they're getting their shit together to put it lightly, okay? Kansas City at Detroit. The Tigers have lost 7 out of 8. They've scored 17 runs in the last 8 games. The Royals, they're in first place, okay? That's great for the Royals. I knew they were going to be a better team this year, but I didn't really know that they would be. Well, we'll have to see how it pans out, but so far they're doing great. They're doing great. They've had 5 different pitchers record at least 1 save. That's the most in Major League Baseball this season. So who would have thunk? The Royals having. I mean, Douglas, you're here, and you probably know. Last time we did the roundtable, we talked about the fact that there's been like 50 or 60 or 70 pitchers already that have recorded 1 save. Tell me how many though, because that's probably an exaggeration, but a lot. Just on the Royals alone, you have Scott Barlow, Wade Davis, Jesse Hahn, Greg Holland, and Kyle Zimmer. So anyway, Ryan O'Hearn made the game 2-0 in the 4th inning. He hit a home run. He was actually just recalled right before the game. So the Royals optioned Kyle Isbell to the alternate training site after Wednesday's game. So they also scored 4 runs in the 5th. Nicky Lopez, hit an RBI ground out. Whit Merrifield, he hit a run-scoring single, and Jorge Soler doubled. He hit a double, drove home 2. I think that Jorge Soler is on kind of a tear right now. I'm pretty sure I put him in my daily lineup today. He's unreliable for the most part, but I'm spending all my fab money buying players I released. You know what? So I don't know if I told you this, but I accidentally dropped Adam Duvall last week, and I tried to get him back, and I was like, I will spend. This is not the first time this has happened to me in this league. In fact, every year I do it. Every year I drop players, and then I turn around and spend a bunch of money trying to get him back, and I did not get Adam Duvall back. Um, I I actually bid only $1 less than the guy who did get him. I feel like he stole him from me, even though I dropped him and he picked him up. So it's fair game, you know. But like, that it's not the first time, dude. So, all right, 65 pitchers with at least one save in baseball. That's quite a lot of pitchers. Okay, so you're listening to the Roto Lady. We are talking Saturday baseball, and Douglas will be on tomorrow at noon, and you can catch George at 6:30. We all like to come and hang out and chat, and of course, Lenny and I will be on tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Yes, it's the middle of the night for the people on the West Coast. If you're driving home from the bar at 4 in the morning, then call us up. Have a call. It'll be fun. And then Monday through Friday, of course, Lenny does 9 a.m. podcast, talks about box scores, does the Nuggets. That's when we have lots of fun in the chat room, and I helps me wake up in the morning. So I've been waking up to Lenny's 9 o'clock podcast for a long time, 12 or 13 years. So, okay. The injuries for the Royals are Tyler Zuber. He was hit on the throwing arm by a comebacker in the 6th. And then Matheny says the x-rays were negative. AJ Hinch says, this is the Tigers now. AJ Hinch says that Miggy Cabrera, he will not be activated for Saturday's game, but he could return tomorrow. He has a left bicep strain, so he returns tomorrow. He's also, working towards some, like some, what's the word? Like career numbers, like 500 hits, 1,000 hits, whatever they are, they're milestones. They're both going towards milestones in this year. So, it's not crazy to think of putting Albert Pujols or Miggy on your team, even though Bowden kind of made fun of me for saying that before the season when we were talking and we were doing the only league. We were just analyzing the draft as it was going on. And I was like, I don't think it's stupid at all. Albert Pujols is like one of the seriously. I think he's got like 4 home runs already this year. Plus he stole 2 bases and he never gets caught. So when he does steal a base, he gets there. So anyway, I don't think that anybody's expecting him to steal bases, and that helps him out for sure because he's not a stolen base guy anymore. But Albert Pujols, he's not that crazy to put on your team. I don't think so anyway. So I don't really care. I do not care. Okay, Arizona at Atlanta. They entered yesterday. Atlanta entered yesterday with 5 of their starting offensive players batting .222. Okay, but that didn't hurt them at all because they are ranked 4th in the National League in runs scored per game, 2nd in rates of home runs, and 2nd in extra base hit percentage. So they ranked 1st in average exit velocity, and that was measured by StatCast. And they had a better strikeout rate than all but 4 National League teams. How does that happen when 5 of your starting players are batting .222? And they had the 4th best walk rate. Maybe that's how it happens. But anyway, Merrill Kelly, I didn't put a lot of notes for this game. You have Huascar Inua, Huascar Inua, 6 innings. He's been pitching pretty good. That's why I'm forced to say his name, okay? 5 strikeouts, 2 earned runs, and 1 walk. And then Luke Weaver got the loss. He pitched 5 innings, 4 earned runs, 5 strikeouts, 4 walks. Hello? The ultimate sin of the pitcher is 4 walks. And then Will Smith got his 4th save in 1 inning, struck out 1, didn't walk anybody. But Merrill Kelly has 2 starts next week. He's going against Chris Paddock and Chichi Gonzalez. So both of these starts are at home. Don't go there, okay? Don't go there. Don't go there. Drew Waters is a consideration for people in really deep NL leagues. Like Drew Waters is a prospect, and just a month ago we weren't even talking about him. But with Christian Pache out with a groin problem, Ender Inciarte hurt his hamstring. Ronald Acuna has not been out, I don't think, but he has an abdominal strain. We don't know the extent of it. He was out the other day. He was not playing. So anyway, the Braves did pick up Guillermo Heredia off the waiver, and he did hit 2 home runs. I think he hit 2 home runs and he got 6 RBIs on Sunday, but he hasn't done anything since then. Okay. Not even like, I don't even know if he's got it in a hit since then, but that was last Sunday. So anyway, the Braves are really thin in the outfield, and this guy, depending on their situation, they could be calling up this Drew Waters. Drew Waters. He's an outfielder. He's down at the alternate training site, and he's a switch hitter. He's got excellent defense. We'll see. I just threw him in there because I was reading the minor league barometer at RotoWire, and I like to see what's coming up. The minor leaguers that they're talking about getting the call, so I threw him in there. Anyways, Seattle at Boston. The Red Sox have won every single game that they led. That was before Thursday, when obviously they didn't. But every game that they've been ahead up to Thursday, they've won those. They finished with 11 hits yesterday. They only scored 6 runs, though, and they have 10 or more hits in 11 of 22 games this season. And that's, I swear, like the first week of the season, I was like, the Red Sox can't even hit. They can't score runs. They can't hit. Their team was horrible, and I don't think that they are going to last long at the top of the standings. Okay, I do not. Lenny thinks that they're better than advertised, and they're like right now they're showing that they're better than advertised, but I don't think it's going to last. The pitcher Martin Perez, he only lasted 3 2/3. He allowed 2 runs and 4 hits and 4 walks. He struck out 3. And Kikuchi, I mean, they still won the game yesterday. They beat Seattle 6-5, but they did get 11 hits and they only scored 6 runs. The win did not go to Kikuchi. He's 0-1. He allowed 5 runs in 4 2/3. Okay. Bogarts hit his 121st career home run, and he tied with John Valentine for the most by a Red Sox shortstop. JD Martinez, he home run too, another home run or whatever. He hit a home run. He also, Kyle Seager hit a 3-run homer in the 9th to pull Seattle within 1 run, but they didn't pull it off. So the Red Sox still win. But Shed Long had a setback in his recovery from off-season surgery to repair a fracture in his right shin. So they say that, I don't know, he was picking up his running and playing in more competitive games and stuff like that, and then he's shut down. So we have no idea. He's not 100% healthy. We want him to be 100% before we start sitting him out there and expecting him to go back-to-back days and really picking up his workload. So he's still playing, but he's not reliable at all. Texas at the White Sox, Yermin Mercedes. He's now the second player in White Sox history to record 2 4+ hit games in his first 18 career games. On April 2nd, he went 5 for 5 against the Angels in Anaheim. And then you have, on the other side of the thing, we have Texas and Chicago White Sox, but these 2 players are just crazy, eerily similar. But Adolis Garcia obviously is the number 1 pickup of the week. You don't have to argue with anybody about that. This guy is going crazy. And it's not like he didn't do these things in the minor league. So nobody was really talking about him, probably because he didn't even make it past. Well, hold on a second. He played at AAA in 2019. He actually came to the majors, made his debut in 2018 in the major leagues. But he only batted 118 and 17 at bats, so they sent him back down. He was with St. Louis at the time. So he did, in 2019, he hit 32 homers. You just very rarely ever see that kind of number. So like all these, I mean, I don't even know if Vladimir Guerrero Jr. did that in the minor leagues, because he hit 32 home runs at AAA in 2019. Plus, he steals bases, this guy. He steals bases. He stole 14 bases that year. But he also got caught 10 times, so I don't know if they're going to allow him to steal a bunch of bases. All I know is that now he's on Texas. He's been caught stealing twice, and he's actually been successful 0. So don't expect a lot of stolen bases from this guy, even though he can steal bases. Apparently he can, but we haven't seen it, and he's just getting caught. So that's the thing, though. This guy is a power hitter to the max. He hit 32 home runs, and I do think that he will continue to hit home runs. He hit 5 on the season so far in 43 plate appearances. He's got 7 extra base hits, 268 batting average, and he is going to be going for so much money this weekend. So I don't know. I mean, if you're willing to spend a lot of money, I would say there's a great chance that he continues to hit lots of home runs and sticks in the lineup. And I don't usually say that about players, but he's not a youngster. He's 28. So, okay, but he's worth picking up. Totally worth picking up. Totally worth spending quite a bit of your fab on too. Kohei Arihara, Texas starting pitcher, only rostered in 26% of leagues. In the last 2 starts, he's been pretty good. He has gone at least 5 2/3 innings in both of the last 2, and only allowed 5 total hits. So in 10 innings, almost 12 innings, actually, 5 total hits, 2 walks, no runs allowed in the last 2 starts, with 11 strikeouts. So he is from Japan, and he is utilizing this pitch mix of his. It's like Trevor Bauer pitch mix. He's got 7 different pitches that he used just in his last start. So, like, are there even 7 pitches? He probably got a couple pitches from Trevor Bauer, because Bauer makes up pitches, and he's got a lot. So anyway, this guy's throwing 7 different pitches, and that is helping him. He was never like a huge strikeout pitcher in Japan, but he definitely could help your ERA, your whip. I don't know how many wins he's going to get. It's the Texas Rangers, for crying out loud, so who knows, but we're almost done. Hi, Robert. Nice to see you. 3, yeah. Join us for Douglas Boyle tomorrow at noon. He will give you some more of his pick for the waiver wire. On the injury list for this, injury concerns. Chris Davis with a K, not that you're really putting him on your roster, but he's got a strained quadriceps. He's playing in games in Arizona, and he will continue to build up his at-bats before heading to the team's alternate site to get ready to come back from the IL. So, I don't know. Like, I know that I think that he was hitting home runs in the spring, maybe, or hitting home runs in the season. I don't know. I've given up on him. I know you guys know I was really believing that he would be good last year, and he was not. And he just disappointed me for the last time. I don't want him on my team. Anyway, so he's got Ronald Guzman, first baseman. He's scheduled for season-ending surgery on Wednesday for a torn meniscus in his right knee. Lance Lynn, he's got a strained right trapezius muscle, and he could be ready to return to the rotation next week. Gotta love that. Adam Engel, outfielder, got a strained right hamstring. He's going to be ready to come back in early May. And then the White Sox reinstated Billy Hamilton from the injured list, and they optioned right-handed pitcher Alex McRae to their training facility. Billy Hamilton was sidelined because of a strained left hamstring. So he got on base as much as he would have got on base if he was healthy anyway. So, what are you going to do? Okay, now we're talking about Los Angeles Angels at Houston. And Raciel Iglesias is not doing well. He got a loss yesterday. He's 1-2. So he actually, opening day, it was fine. It was great. Everything's good. He's a good pitcher. I mean, he's a good closer. He's got the job done. The places that he's gone, he's been totally reasonable. He's had 8 pitches in the first save of the season. On opening day, he struck out 2 batters, and it took him 8 pitches to get through and get a save. Since then, he's been not good at all. So 2 runs in his second outing, blew a save in his third outing, and he got a loss in his fourth outing, and now he's pitched only 4 times in the last 17 days, and he hadn't given up a run in his previous 3 appearances. That was entering yesterday until yesterday. He struggled in the 10th, 3-run 10th by Houston, scoring 3 runs in the 10th. And the Angels actually scored 2 runs in the 10th. So it was a good game at the end. But the problem is the Angels they had 13 hits. They scored 4 times in the game. They had 13 hits. That's right. They scored 4 times. So here's Raciel Iglesias blowing the game open. 3-run 10th inning. Now he has a 7.71 ERA in 7 innings on the season. What are you going to do about him? I don't know. If you have him, you can't really do much with him. I'm not dropping him, that's for sure. But he's horrible this year so far. Ryan Presley got the win for the Houston Astros. 2 innings he pitched, okay? So he could be an effector, a closer, everything. Pujols, I just wanted to make note of Pujols. He started the last 4 out of 5. Started 4 out of the last 5 games with 2 home runs. He's batting 200. So, I mean, what are you going to do? With 1 stolen base and 5 RBIs. And I'm telling you, that is better than most hitters in baseball. So don't feel ashamed to put Pujols on your team. You need somebody. He is hitting. He's on an American League team. He played, and Jared Walsh, by the way, is playing in the outfield. He's playing right field a lot more. And I think that before you see either Brandon Marsh or the youngster Joey Dell, I think that you're going to see this setup way more before they call up these youngsters, because I think that Jared Walsh will be in the outfield. Pujols will be playing first. And the other days that Jared Walsh plays first base, he will be a DH. Albert Pujols will be the DH, especially if he's hitting. New York Yankees at Cleveland. The Yankees have now won 2 straight. That stinks because I was just really enjoying their losing habits. Just kidding. I don't root for anybody to lose, but kind of. Anyway, the Cleveland Indians scored 3 runs in the first inning, and then the Yankees came back and scored 3 runs in the second inning, so it was 3-3 going into the third. The Yankees just kind of took control from there. They were the only ones to score after that. They scored 1 in the third and 1 in the fifth. Going into yesterday, the Yankees were 27th in the major leagues in batting average for the team. It was .211. They were 29th in OPS. They were last in slugging position. They were 26th in runs scored and tied for 21st in home runs. So they have not been doing well. But on yesterday, they had 11 hits. Gleyber Torres had 3 hits yesterday. So Stanton, he comes staggering into the game. Stupid, staggering into the game with a 158 batting average. Okay, he was in a 3-4-34 slump. Now, he was off on Thursday because Aaron Boone benched him. They said he needed rest. What the hell that means? I don't know why they need rest this early, but okay. Stanton, 2 home runs, one with 118 mile per hour exit velocity yesterday. That was the highest in the majors for the season. So obviously the rest worked for him, and he hit 2 yesterday. The New York Yankees hit 4 home runs, and they beat the Cleveland Indians 5-3. So Domingo Germán is back. He pitched yesterday, I think. Anyways, he's on here because the reason that I'm talking about Domingo Germán is because he has a 2-start pitching week. Okay, he's going to make 2 starts this week. One of them is at Baltimore against Bruce Zimmerman, and the other one is at home versus Detroit. So 2 horrible teams he gets to face. And I know he's not great for fantasy, but he is good for this week because he already has been sent down and punished to the alternate training site this season, and now he's back, and we came back yesterday, either a couple days ago, he came back, pitched at Cleveland. He threw 6 innings. Okay, that's great, especially since the 2 outings before that, he couldn't get past 4 innings. He allowed 2 earned runs, 7 hits in 6 innings, and struck out 6. He walked 1. So this is the thing. This is a streaming pitcher only. He is absolutely worthy of 2 starts this week against Baltimore and Detroit. Okay, that's it. And then get rid of him after that immediately. Okay, he let's see. So last year he pitched only 13, and no, he didn't pitch at all last year. I think he was suspended because he got in trouble for doing something horrible to his girlfriend. And in 2019 he pitched 143 innings. Remember, he was a big surprise. He was a kind of a nice surprise because he made 24 starts that season and he didn't do horrible. Anyway, he's worth a stream. That's it, okay? Now, I think we already talked about San Diego, and we did, so we're done, you guys. We're all done. Matt Hooper is finally here. Okay, I would like to formally apologize for recommending Dinelson Lamet to you. he's a great pitcher. There's no doubt about it. So, I mean, I don't feel bad that I recommended him as a pitcher because you have so many pitchers on the waiver to choose from since you guys only have one injury spot in your league, and that has to be frustrating. But I feel like that league, you know, you've mentioned a couple times that league is really frustrating for you. And I actually kind of like the league because you only do have one injured spot. So if, you know, there's so many players getting injured that it really helps out with the fact that there's players to pick up always. I think the downside of having, you know, unlimited injured spots on your roster is the fact that there's hardly ever anybody to pick up because they're all on somebody's like injured reserve. Why drop a player when you could just put them on your injured list? So anyway, that does keep the waiver wire fully stocked all the time because you only get one injured spot. And so I would say that the strategy in that league is to totally just be on top of the injured players and grab them before they come off the injured list. And you might have to like even make them active for a day or two before they come back. But you should be on that injured list like a hawk and like always paying attention to who's coming back, like when. And I don't know if you can only pick up players once a week. That would be kind of a hindrance. But I think that, you know, you got to use the rules in your league that you think are crazy as an advantage and create a strategy that works with the rules that are set up. So, I mean, you know, every set of rules makes different potential strategies, but definitely drop Lamet. Throw him back out. Throw him away. Replace him with someone else. Now you have an opportunity to get someone else. And you absolutely did. Yeah, you picked up Tim Anderson, and that's awesome because that he would never have been available in a league where, like, you know, people have more injured spots. So I don't think you should get that frustrated at this league. Just remember the strategy has to like be geared towards the rules. But I talked about a lot of players to pick up this week. So if you need some, I don't know, the players that I talked about were kind of deep. So anyway, definitely Adolis is his name. Adolis Garcia is going to be the biggest hit this week. And he's going to go for so much of your fab money. I say, I'm not going there. But here's the thing. I absolutely normally you will hear me saying to you, do not trust guys with not a lot of experience. But this guy has hit so many home runs in the minor leagues. Like his stats speak for themselves. He is a power hitter galore. Gets caught stealing bases, so I don't know if he's going to steal as many bases as he used to, but he's 28, so he's not a youngster. Anyways, I always say be careful how much money you invest in these players that when they're like the most popular fab pickup this week, but he's going to hit home runs. He's going to continue to hit home runs, so if that's what you need, he's worth it spending some money on, I think. Other than that, we're all done. Catch me and Lenny tomorrow at Sirius Radio. Sirius 210 XM87, and we will be on 7 to 10 a.m. or if you're on the West Coast, that will be Drunk 30 4 a.m. and just tune us in on your way home. Hopefully you're not driving home at 4 in the morning, but you know, listen in the cab, in the Uber. Everybody have a great weekend. Tomorrow is Douglas Boyle and George tomorrow noon. Douglas 6:30, George, always good shows, so we look forward to seeing you then. And I have to figure out how to turn this off. Okay.